In this video, we're going to continue to talk about materials in Twinmotion and how we can use them in combination also with the lighting system that we have chosen. So we created some interior-exterior situation in the previous video, working with the lights and also starting to apply materials to work with materials to work with objects. So everything is kind of coming together and we are defining more and more our final renderings. And we also created some 3D objects to make the lights more realistic. So if you apply just the light effect, it's only going to give you the light itself, but not the 3D object. So we created little spotlights here and we placed those onto the ceiling, and also we created some hanging lamps, and also I applied a night scene on the outside with the sun and the sky system, the procedural sun and the sky. We started to see also some camera effects like the depth of field or vignetting. So we will continue, and in this video we will move from ArcViz into ProdViz. So we're gonna talk more about product visualization, materials and textures more than architectural visualization, but we're gonna come back here in another lesson. So we saw also how we can work with animated materials, more advanced materials like water. Now there are some really interesting new materials in the new version of Twinmotion, and those also are available for product design, and we're gonna see them in just a second. Now let's see here. This is the interior in real time. We also saw how to downgrade the realism and the quality of the real-time render when we have too many lights, too many objects, too many materials, and everything tends to get slow and laggy and heavy. It's good practice to lower the quality, so to improve the speed and the performance. Now I created here a carpet. I just want to show you again, I want to continue from the previous video when we left talking about the preset materials. So we started to create our own customized materials, and we saw that we have like different main categories and to start. So we started with a basic one, and then we saw that we have rug material and fabric material, and then we have emissive material, video material, so we subsurface scattering material. So in here I've applied a rug material. So I've just created a new rug material and then changed the color. That's it. So usually they come in white color or standard color, which is like light gray. And here you can see that we can change the hair tiling and the hair height. So we can customize the carpet a little bit. Now, this is really important. The concept of tiling when we use textures is really important because we either use texture that can be tileable, or we use texture that we can only place one time, so we need to stretch them all the way and cover all the object with it. So when we use tiling, we're gonna, well, this one here is an example. So you can see you can repeat that image on the wall, which is a decal, by the way, and we're gonna see that later. But decal with decal you can apply any graphics, by the way. So you can apply also PNGs with transparent background and so on. But if you repeat that, like a picture, it's gonna be visible, be really visible that it's a repetition. So you don't want to have that. You want to use repetition and tiling only when you want to cover large areas with a small image. Otherwise, you need big images to cover big areas. Now, you can see here also the difference between real-time rendering and path tracer rendering when we use the hair effect. So this is similar to hair and fur in other render engine like V-Ray or Corona. So each render engine has similar effects. Now in this case, here we can create carpets, also like simulate grass and things like that using the rug material, and we can apply also a texture. Now the first thing we can do with the texture here, instead of using a simple color, we can copy and paste. So if we find another interesting pattern, another interesting texture on another material, we can copy that from there and paste it in our own, the one that we are customizing. So here you can see in fabric, we have a lot of fabrics, and some of these, they use textures. And some of these are already carpets. So if you drop in this one here, which is carpet 01 or 02 or 03, they already are configured to be with the hair system. So if I click and drag, you can already see it has hairs. So if I render, you can see the effect. Now, this is kind of a really mild displacement effect. Displacement is something that is going to extrude particles or, well, really tiny dots from the surface. It's going to simulate a 3D superficial effect. And it's going to be really realistic. Now, I always also use the grunge. So you can see here, I picked the material from the couch, and I always use the grunge because it's adding some variety. Grunge is more like a procedural texture, a procedural map, which can create some variation. So I always do that. So you can see I copied the texture from the carpet and I pasted it into the diffuse channel or color channel of the couch. So once it's there, I can edit with color correction. I can, for example, change the saturation, the gamma, the lift. So you can see how it's changing the aspect of the couch. And of course, one of the most important thing, again, is the scale or the tiling, and also luminosity. I'm gonna change that. Now, also rotation could be helpful if you want to rotate the texture. And this is the scale. So you can see I'm scaling up the texture, not the overall texture. This is scaling the texture of the diffuse. So it's showing me bigger the effect and the size. So the more repetition I have, the smaller the image will be. The less repetition, the bigger the image will be. So if I pick again the material on the carpet, let's see it here because it's probably more visible. So here you have two types of tiling. One tiling is for the displacement effect of the RM4, and the other one, and also let's increase the height so we can see it better. And the other one is for the actual image that it's applied. So when we do scale, you can see that it's basically the same thing of tiling. So usually tiling is a parameter that is the perfect opposite of scale. So you can decide your own scale, and this is going to affect all the texture that are inside that material except the hair M4 layer. So we're going to make some more example about materials, layers, channels, and procedural maps, textures, and so on. So I'm going to switch here to product design. This is the demo, the template that we find in Twinmotion. It's basically a pair of shoes that we can use to test some advanced materials. Now, in this version right here, if we type in the libraries ProdViz, so, well, we can also type ArcViz, and this is going to show you everything that concerns architectural visualization, especially advanced materials, really high quality materials, and other stuff you can see there from Sketchfab also. But mainly, the first thing you're going to see are things that can be used for architectural visualization. Now, if we type instead ProdViz, it's going to show you all the materials, the advanced materials that you can see. Most of them are on the cloud because they are really heavy, they're really advanced, and they're specific for product design. And in my opinion, I think there is like more attention to tissues, fabrics, clothing, things like that. So I think that this demo right here is perfect. So you can see this one here is called nylon branded. It's on the laces of the shoes, and that's an advanced materials. So we need to click on the little arrow to download the materials, just as we saw also with other assets in Twinmotion. And then when we're ready, we can click and drag. And now we need to wait a few seconds for the creation of that material. And you can see that these are really advanced. And if I go really close, so if I do a really close-up shot, you can see that they don't lose quality. They always look great, and they are specific, again, I think, for really close shots. So for really advanced details in products. So you can do product design, you can do product